Hey everybody, I'm Matthew P. Munger, and today we're going to take a look at mattOS, or my portfolio site. I thought I'd give a little tour of it in Webflow. This is not going to be an in-depth breakdown, but just kind of a little tour around so you can kind of get a glimpse at how I was able to pull it off. And so here we have the site. We are previewing it in Webflow. And so we have our little Finder windows that we can open and close, and things on the desktop, and folders within folders. You know, not the way the web works at all. We have a trash can with some things. Oh, we need to empty those. Let's do that. Yeah, that looks good. You know, we've got some fun little things in here, like you can change color palette. So that's fun. Kind of like blue is actually my favorite, but keeping it classic. The gray, dark gray, and black. Yeah, so we got these menus functioning. Some of them are driven by CMS collection list, like this one right here. Some of them are external links, and some of them are triggers that cause other things to happen, like alerts. Do you want to log out? Oh, you can't. Sorry about that. How about shut down? It's not a good idea. Well, I don't care if it's not a good idea. Let's do it anyway. Ooh. Oh. How do I get the website back? Oh, there it is. Anyway, so I'm still working on some of that stuff. I want to add a little more, especially like closing the windows. I want to add that kind of ghost frame borders that kind of go back to infinity from there. The restart right now just kind of takes you back to the home page and kind of resets the page. Upon load, I do want to create a nice little kind of boot screen with a loading bar and all that. So that'll be coming. And then when you hit restart, you'll actually see that process again. You'll actually see the computer booting up. So it'll feel like more like a restart. Yeah, so we got some forms. And yeah, let's go ahead and just start looking at the structure here. So here we have the canvas. You can see the site. I'm going to go over to the navigator, and we'll just expand out all the elements here. So it looks pretty simple. Well, it's not, but using the symbols does make it look simple. So you can see over here, symbol panel. I've got all these right here. I can drag them, and probably at some point in the future, I'll actually combine these into probably 1 to 3 maybe symbols and combine them. Just make it even a little nicer for me here. Then we got collections, got a few. So I have my client work projects, YouTube videos, articles will go there, tutorials. I've kind of imported a couple. I have some more that are spread around that I need to bring into the site. Favorite items, so I'm slowly adding things to this list. Project tags, favorite item categories, and Webflow Weekly. These are, let's pull that up so you can see what that looks like. So Webflow Weekly, so if you go here, you can click a recent issue, or if we click here, we can see these issues. So we have issue 1 through 4, which is the first weeks of the year, and then 5 and 6 will come out on Monday, but I'm already collecting items for that, and you'll be able to see that here. And if we go to an actual issue of Webflow Weekly, so this is all content that I view either put out officially by Webflow on the forum or on the showcase of sites built in Webflow or resources that are made for Webflow. I have collected that stuff for myself, and so I decided, why not share it? Now that I've got a better website with CMS, might as well collect it all, right? And share it. So we've got our content here, so you've got links to where the content is. I've started adding comments. I'm going to try and comment pretty much on everything in the future. To just a brief explanation of why I chose to add it to this list. So yeah, it's pretty neat. And I thought these lists would get shorter, but because the first one was the first 4 weeks, but the other ones are still plenty of content's been coming out these weeks. I'm really happy about that. So let's go look at how it works in the CMS. So I have the issues here, and then I have these other collections where the different categories that you see on the page, from resources, tips, tricks, tutorials, showcases, and then official Webflow content. Those are all brought in separately. I have miscellaneous as well, in case there's something that doesn't ever fit into the above. I had one item in the first week, and that was a podcast that fit there. So let's look at an issue. This one's a doozy right here. So we got the name and the start date and end date for when these items were collected. It's usually when they were made public by whatever entities push the content, or it could just be when I found it. But generally, it's I find it when it goes live. SEO description, introduction. So just some words from me, just kind of setting up each week. Then we got Webflow section, so showcase. So these are multi-reference fields. If we go into the settings, you see we got our start date, end date, SEO, intro, which is rich text. Then we have multi-reference to those other 5 collections. So that's what you see there. So like, here's the upcoming week. I need to write the SEO and the intro. These are the items that have been collected. And then from that, we'll go to issue 6, the draft issue. And you can see what we got going on here. So I have more that I need to add in here. And see, so this video, little trick here, can show. So this is under tutorials, and I'm guessing it's this one. Oh wait, I'm looking at. Need the one that's YouTube. So let's do this. Yeah, there's my video link. So add a space, delete, and now, there we go. Save that. And the reason being, this is number 32 is what I'm looking for here. Okay, let's go back here to 32. This data came from Zapier, and so yeah, so that's good. There we go. So when it comes from Zapier, that's why we need to kind of go in there and just kind of say, hey, Webflow, it's a video. So just it causes it to reprocess the video link when you just kind of add space and delete it. Just reprocesses the link and binds it correctly. So that's yeah, all those collections. Let's go back to the home page. So the site is pretty much one page except for the collection template pages, which is where you get the details on items. Get the detail pages. Everything else is right here, and that's on just one page, and because these are symbols, I'm pulling them into every page. And so that's why you get you're able to, on any page, close the windows and then interact with the desktop and the menus. So that functionality follows you no matter which page you're on. So let's actually go in here. So we have a page wrapper, which is filling up the viewport, 100 VW, 100 VH. Then spins out. The way I'm doing the color change, I actually have an element called color background. And this provides the color. If I change this, woohoo, you see that changes a lot right there. Because this color background element, I'm reusing that class throughout the site. Any element that would have a solid background that would be color is getting that div with that class in it. And this is positioned absolute. So I put the parent to relative, and then now I've got a dynamic background that I can change with just one interaction. And I can change it everywhere on the site. So that's a brief little thing about how the background color changes, and I'll show you that in a minute at the actual interaction. So we got the menu bar up top there. That's its own symbol. And I'm using the Webflow component, nav bar component. Just a little bit of customization, flexbox to align everything. Got mobile menu. We got our triggers over here. So I guess we can go ahead and look at that. The color triggers. So we got on tap, color changes to aqua. And in here you can see all the classes that I'm affecting. And some of these are actually not active classes anymore. I could go in and clean up. But a lot of them are like here. It's just like, change these icons out from the graphite to the aqua. These text labels, change them out and so on. Or make this transparent. All right, so we're here in the nav bar. I don't know what else there is to say here. I'm using the drop-down component for these menus. Oh, the shadow. How I'm doing the shadow. Okay, so we have our drop-down. So the toggle is what's up top, and then we have the drop-down list. And then inside the drop-down list, there's my color background again. That's what's creating the border, right? And then the list actually has some padding, which pushes the content in, exposing that kind of faux border, which are really just, you're seeing that padding, allowing you to see that color background div. So the shadow, go over here, is an absolute div, 100%, 100%. So it's the same height and width as the drop down. Okay, and then I'm just shifting it by 8 pixels to the right and down. So you can see I can move the shadow just like that. It's pretty simple little technique. And then inside that, again, there you go. There's that color background div again, so that just for the fun of it, we'll go over here. Let's see. We have an opacity on the shadow. I added a combo class there for the opacity. We'll change this. Let's see, blue. Hey, see? So the shadow changed along with the border and all the other color background elements. Okay, moving on. I think that's about it for the nav bar. It's pretty straightforward. It took some tweaking, and I had to force some widths on some of the larger elements so that they wouldn't break into 2 lines. I've got this little divider line, which is just a wrap and then a div inside of it with a top border that's dashed. All right, let's get out of there. Now we have the desktop, so that's the remainder of the screen here. And then inside there, we have all of our windows and alerts. Over here, let's see, this is a flex component. And then we have our desktop icons over here. So we've got this wrapper here, and I'm using Flexbox all over the place. Wouldn't have been possible without Flex. Well, I shouldn't say that. I wouldn't have done it without Flexbox because it would have taken too long. So yeah, so we got that wrapper there. We got our icons. So we got these icon wraps, and inside those, so on the icons, if I go over here, we can see the interaction. So on tap, first click. What happens on first click? Oh, let's use a filter to invert the icon in the text. Beautiful. And then on second click, it's actually going to open window npm HD. So it's going to open that hard drive window. So first thing that happens is it's going to close the global class for window position wrap. It's going to do the global class. Each one of these has a combo class, so I can target them on open. So the close will close any window that's open first, and then it's going to take the filter that was on that icon when we first clicked it, turn that back off, and then it's going to open the appropriate combo class for window position. So this one is open the hard drive. And that's how I'm able to open these kind of windows and folders, these kind of Finder windows from anywhere. I can, we can open them, up here from the nav. You can open them over here, or even inside the hard drive. It's going to the same place. So you can see there's like 3 different ways to get to the same kind of Finder window. And that's what makes it happen, is those combo classes combined with the interactions that are targeting them. So each one of these inside is kind of the same. You got your position wrap, and so this is kind of filling up the whole space. And so we've got our positioning, and we got our padding there. And inside we have our Finder wrap. Oh, and here's how I do the editing. So I go here and I say open. So it's adding a third class in the combo there, which just changes the display from none to flex. So now I can see what I'm working on. And so now as I go through the navigator, we can actually see what I'm talking about. So we got the Finder wrap, and this is the whole thing. We have a close trigger. This is overlaid right here. We have the actual Finder itself, which is the content, and then we have shadow again, just like we did in the nav bar. And then the background, just like in the nav bar, gives us that outer edge border. So in the Finder, flex again. So we're using flex vertical. And I've got the top bar, and then there's an info bar, which is used in some cases, not in every window. And just a little Easter egg here, 405, that's Oklahoma City area code where I'm originally from, where I grew up. And then 506 is Costa Rica's country code, which is where I'm living right now with my family. So that's just, there are little things like that I was able to put in, which, kind of makes it fun to build this kind of stuff. So then we have the middle section of the Finder, which is the content window and the sidebar. And in the future, I would like to actually turn these into real scroll bars that are styled this way. But that is for another day. So there we got our content window. So this is our main area here. It's where most everything is going to reside. I've got little divs called Finder Cleanup, just kind of is my little flex boxes that arrange my icons, because sometimes, this is just going to be text content and I don't need that. But then when I do, I use that, because cleanup is something you can actually do on your hard drive for your icons. So, and our icons, same thing. We've got the same interactions: first click, invert, and then open the correct window. And so you can see on the icon, I got icon wrap and then readme. Okay, so anywhere I have icon wrap and readme, it is going to have these interactions. You can see right here down at the bottom, it says icon wrap readme, and it's targeting the class. So any time it sees that combo class, it's going to pull in these interactions. So that really helps for reusability. Finder icon, we got our different color version of icons hidden in there, which only the graphite versions are being shown. Title, text, real simple. This gets targeted with the color change, targets those classes. Folders, oh, by the way, these icons, these main icons here, I actually built myself in Affinity Designer. So obviously inspired and close to the original icons, some of them, especially the trash. But yeah, even the save disk and all that, yeah, I built those myself. And that's hell fun, as well as my own icon. Yeah, so that's, let's see, let's close Finder. Oh, yeah, and then we have the background trigger. So if you click on the desktop, so there are two ways to close one of these Finder windows that pops open. So you can click, the little close window box, just like you would expect. But you can also just click in the background of the desktop and it'll close all windows. So you can click here or just click outside. And I found that was better for usability because and there's also a tint there that kind of overlays the background, so you kind of know there's a layer separating. Because it's like if I want to go and I'm like, oh, I want to open this other folder, and I just go to click, it wouldn't close the existing window, and then I would get a window on top of a window, and then it was like, how do I do the Z indexing, all that? It was way too messy. So I'm like, okay, as soon as one window, everything closes, one window opens. I made that kind of default, kind of for the user experience and functionality, and it seems to work. Oh yeah, and on the close, if you watch right here in the box, there's an icon that kind of blips on there for the little close animation. So I want to add more to that close animation, kind of make it a little more stylized. What else? Let's see, alerts. So I always got to remember to do this. So since I'm not in the live site with interactions, I have to actually kind of add that combo class on there to open and close things. So let's go to the Shutdown Alert and open. And there it is. So similar setup, we got our wrap, we got a close trigger for the background, boxes and borders and backgrounds and shadows, and content, got a couple of containers in there to hold the content, align the buttons, flex side by side, put them to the right. There's a kind of there's an interaction. This is not a CSS hover effect right there because it's a different element targeting that background, color background, and activating it. Same thing that's being activated when you switch these colors up here, or actually targeting just the one that's inside that button. That's how I'm doing that effect. Yeah, so that's about that. Let's go. We can look maybe at a project page. See that alert, shutdown alert. I need to turn it back off. Let me work. Thank you. All right. Let's see what would be example here. So we got buttons being pulled in from the CMS published site, or do we want to go to the Webflow showcase? So that's cool. So there's our tags, our project tags coming in right there. So this is a collection list that's pulling in that multi-reference. Here in the projects, we got a multi-reference for tags. And so if I go, if I could spell, there we go. So you can see custom site CMS animation, custom site CMS animation, And I want to add more to these pages when I can, like maybe some animated GIFs, more pictures, more details about the project. That'd be nice. That'll come in time, right? Maybe we can look at the favorite items here. Ta-da. Now you can see this button right here actually says the name of the item, or that in this case an app. The way I'm doing that is an HTML embed. So I've written the code for a link. So we got our link tag, the class. I'm pulling in the class that I'm using in the designer. And then our reference goes to the website, published link. Our target is none, so that it'll open in a new tab or a new window. And then here we actually have the name that's being pulled in. So that's why it says paste. And then I got the little icon there for open external window. And then, so we got our icon from paste, description, and screenshot. So that's how those work. And these are the same kind of Finder windows and alert boxes, using the same classes everywhere. And it's just sometimes the content inside them is going to be different. Oh, not project tags. That's actually not a page I'm using. I meant to click favorite categories. Yeah, so here we got Finder window with some icons and some description. So this is a little bit of a blend. Let's look at tools. Yay. There's some good tools. Got a lot more stuff I want to add into these, that hopefully people will find useful. Video template. So we're pulling, and I just realized it sounds like I'm saying BAM a lot. Don't know what that's from. Actually, I do. It's from a show that my kids watch. But anyway, it's pulling in the YouTube video right there from CMS. But I mean, rich text, description, title. Yeah, so we're pulling feature is a up the top. There we go. So I'm pulling in from some of this from Zapier, from YouTube to Zapier to Webflow. And I'm going to show some zaps. I'll show you how those work. We're getting YouTube video, the YouTube ID. I always like to pull that in because sometimes I want to do a custom embed and maybe the lazy YouTube load trick and code. And but for this site, it's one video on a page at a time usually. So I am not doing that yet, but I'm pulling in those IDs just in case in the future I want to use a custom embed. And pulling in the duration time from YouTube. Type, I am entering manually. No, I'm not. I think that's coming from Zapier too, because they're individual zaps for each collection. I'll have to check that. I can't remember. Description and SEO, I'm putting in manually here. Yeah. So it can say if it's a tutorial or a feature video or how-to type video. So this video that I'm recording will go there eventually. Okay, what next? What next? Tutorials. Yeah, same thing, alert box with our links, and then the actual tutorial itself, and the Finder window. This is rich text, just a big rich text block, header, a few links. And then let's go to the Webflow Weekly. Yeah, so this is the big one. So I'm pulling in, look at the data, our bindings here. And I don't know if you've noticed, but on the Finder windows, the title there for the Finder windows changes based on what's open. So this is not my H1, but it does give the visitor a clue as to what they're looking at or what they clicked on. But here's my actual H1. So this is issue 5. And pulling that in. And then we got our intro text, pulling in. Now we have our Webflow content section. And So here we're in the section. I'm going to go down. There's heading, description, and then now I'm pulling in that multi-reference list. So I'll go back and remind you how that's set up. So it's pulling in this right here, these multi-reference items. And so just binding on this too. So we've got our item, and then we've got image. If there's a video, pull in the video. So I've got conditions on these as well. Condition is video link is set. So we'll only put that in HTML if it is a video. If it's not a video, it's going to pull in the image. And we got our H3, descriptive paragraph, my comment. If I don't have a comment set, boom, it will not show, because it will only show if the comment is set. So that's why you don't see one here, but you see one here. Now for the buttons, we got a little wrap, and then we've got this button. Condition, Webflow link is set. That's like a Webflow domain link. And then this other button is, that's a video link. Basically, publish site. If it's a non-Webflow site, it'll be this right here. So, oh, MakerPad. Check out MakerPad. It's really cool. What Ben's doing is really cool. I'm following along. I love it. He's doing a lot of stuff with animation and apps, so you can make some really cool web apps using no code. Tips, tricks, tutorials. It's all the kind of same stuff as we go down through the sections. It's just, it's like, hey, if there's nothing in this section, don't show that section. But if there is, here's what you show. Heading, description, and the items. And then the items, are flexbox. So it's like, depending on your screen size, you might get 3 wide, and then we get one that stretches out and fills. I guess I like that. It's fine for now. Yeah. And then we got our outro. Closing statement. Let's see. I don't have anything on the template pages for the actual Webflow Weekly items because everything is linking out externally, or it's an embedded video. I've thought about building out these pages, and someday I might, just so I can share individual pages at a time. But for now, everything's just in the kind of roundup. I'm trying to think here what else there is to show. Interactions. So on the, let's see, well, I guess there are a few more interactions I could show. I've got this emphasize color button loop, which is a it's over 10-second loop. So basically these 3 icons up here, I was like, people I just think it's part of the design, but it's actually functional. So I wanted to bring a little attention to it, but I didn't want to be over the top. So it waits, I don't know if I press play or not. It waits 10 seconds and then it scales these buttons. And now it's not. These should actually be set to class. Oh, there we go. There we go. Get it. So it just kind of goes in sequence, scaling the buttons up and back down. So yeah. That's a little micro interaction there. And homepage load. So right now, all this is doing is launching the README file because I want to make sure, that's the first thing people see. I thought about, should I just have a blank desktop? And, I think README is pretty obvious, but it's like, nah, I don't want to. That was the microphone. I want to actually guide people, and kind of get them started. So I was like, I'll just open that window and they'll kind of see how it works. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to add the actual boot animation, which will actually, the windows will grow and It's like the screen's coming on for a computer. So that will be added in there at some point. And I could actually show you the shutdown. And I can show it here. So these are all targeting those windows, those specific windows to open on click and such. All right, shut down. So let's see it. So what I did is I took the entire page wrapper, and this color right here is the background, and just stepped it down on the scale. So I've got a delay of 0.05 seconds, and then it just knocks down basically 10% each time until it's gone. And then after it's gone, delay of 5 seconds, and then boop, pops back. Because it's like, oops, I don't think you meant to do that. All right. So yeah, same thing kind of with the logout alert. Just target that, pop it up. All right, let's go look at the zaps real quick. So here are my zaps for this site. So I've got 1 or 2 for every collection. So I've got coming from Pocket and YouTube. And we'll just look at this. So what happens is, you can see here in Chrome, I've got my Pocket button, and I can also do this from my phone. If I'm reading something or found a site, I can hit the Pocket button, send it to Pocket, and the important thing is that it is a new tagged item. So it's not just that it's gone to Pocket, because I use Pocket for other sites as well. So when I send things to Pocket to trigger Zapier, I have to actually tell it where to go. And so that's where I use tags. So new tagged item coming from my Pocket, and this is right here where I tag it. So when I hit the button, I hit here, and I enter my tag, whatever it may be. And go away, Pocket. It does not want to go away. This is what happens when you screen share in Chrome. All right, create item. So it takes that tagged item and we send it to Webflow, and Webflow is going to create a new item. And then I tell it which list I want. And here we set up where things go. So I'm pulling each of these pieces of data from Pocket. So Pocket sees all this. So we've got image sources. Sometimes we have author names, titles, excerpts, which I'm using for descriptions, the link, image, and the title. That's pretty much it. And it's going to that collection, which matches the Pocket tag. And that goes to Webflow, saved as a draft. And then, like, save me a step here, I created a tweet that will go out, and can customize this. So it brings in the name, the link, and can have an emoji, and I could write something else in there if I wanted. But it's pretty simple right now. Just if I find something, share it. So it's going to go to Twitter, and it's going to go to Webflow. And that is pretty much, those are the zaps. Let's go back. Forward. Too far back. All right, the other one is YouTube. Very similar, except for the trigger is slightly different. It's a new video and playlist. And I've just chosen which playlist. There's a playlist ID, and that's the trigger. So I had it all going into one collection at the beginning, but I found it created more work for me because I just had like a contents CMS collection. And then when I was creating the issues, I'd have to do a lot of like, okay, what's the name of that? And try to find it and bring it into each section. But now that I've got each kind of section that's in the visual design broken into different CMS collections, I can actually just come here and I can just say, okay, what's a draft item that hasn't been published inside the Webflow collection or inside the showcase section. And so I can see all my draft items and I can just boom, pull them in to that issue. Let's see, let's go to the, yeah. So this is the current issue. So if I hit draft, because there's one, let's add that. Boom, that needs to be in there. So now we just added that new one. And now if I hit draft, or I type draft, no items come up because I don't have any new items that haven't been added in here. Draft. Oh, we got one. Oh yeah, this is a good one to check out. The YMU site by Mr. Aaron Grieve. Check that out. It's a good one. It'll come out in Monday's issue. So that's how I add the pull the items in using the multi-reference for the different sections of the kind of weekly roundup. And save that. Bingo. And come over here and you can see there are my drafts. So now, obviously these need to be published on Monday, but what I'll do before then is I'll come in here and I'll add my comment, what I liked about this site, why I think it's useful, you should check it out, and make sure all the information is correct. Usually, sometimes, the author name for different things might not come in through Zapier, right? Or it might just be like just the first name, not the full name. So I'll just kind of double check that kind of stuff. And then I hit select once they're all ready. I'll actually shift click, bam. And then I hit stage for publish. Those are ready to go. And once they're staged for published, I know they're ready and there's no more work I need to do on that item. And then all I have to do, cancel out a selection. Then all I need to go and do is publish the issue on Monday, and it's ready to go. And probably need to put up, I could put up a trigger in Zapier that when a Webflow weekly issue is pushed to automatically tweet about it and stuff. But manually is okay for now. So that is a tour of the site. I'm sure this video is a lot longer than I would have liked it to be, but I ramble because it feels like I'm just talking to myself, but I know you guys are out there. So what I'd like you to do, let me know you're out there. Give me some comments, if you like the video. If you have any questions about, because as I was skimming through things, you're like, wait, how did you do that? I'm sure I did not go in depth on things. If there's interest, I can definitely go more in depth on certain aspects of elements from the site. So yeah, if you like this or my other videos, hit like and subscribe. Really appreciate it. Check me out on Twitter, obviously at matthewpmunger.com. You can browse this site that we've been looking at. You can find me on Webflow. Link is on my site. You can find my profile and you can actually open up this site and look around yourself. And I'll put that in the description below as well. All right, guys, take care.